Okay, so a little bit of background before we get into the question at hand. I live in the Chicagoland area. I was born and raised in the Chicagoland area. I was born in Melrose Park. I spent time living in Melrose Park, North Lake, Addison, all over the Chicagoland area as a child. I then, after eighth grade, moved to Southern Indiana, where I did my high school years before coming back to Chicago. I spent a few years in the early '90s, in my early 20s, hitchhiking across the country. But otherwise, I've lived here in the Chicagoland area, and I am not a Bears fan. I'm a Colts fan. And this person says, Tom, how did you become a Colts fan over the Bears with having your roots in Chicagoland? I used to be a Bears fan when I was a child. When I was a young boy, I used to be a Bears fan. The first time I got turned off to the Bears was Super Bowl 20, and then after that, beginning to realize that ownership was a problem, they lost my fandom. The first thing that happened in Super Bowl 20 was what that piece of shit coach Mike Ditka did. And what really bothers me about the Chicago Bears faithful is that they worship Mike Ditka. Mike Ditka is a piece of shit who should forever be shamed within the Chicago city limits. Every time that motherfucker walked into a restaurant or a bar, he should have been turned away his entire fucking life. But Tom, he brought them their only Super Bowl. In that Super Bowl, he had the greatest running back of all time, Walter Payton. An argument can be made for Barry Sanders. An argument can be made for Jim Brown. In my opinion, I think that Walter Payton was the greatest running back of all time. And for years and years and years, the Bears relied on Walter Payton to get him up and down the field. Right? He excelled in a team that struggled. So he languished on a shit team, Walter Payton. And then they finally put it together, and they finally make it to the pinnacle. They get to the Super Bowl, and they rely on him again, up and down the field with Walter Payton. Don't get me wrong, I understand McMahon was slinging the rock. But Walter Payton was their go-to. And they get down to the goal line, and what does that piece of shit Mike Ditka do? He pulls the greatest running back of all time out of the Super Bowl when he's on the verge of getting his one and only Super Bowl touchdown. And he puts in William Perry, the refrigerator, so that we could have this sideshow freak of an extravaganza and make big headlines. So William Perry has a rushing touchdown in a Super Bowl, but Walter Payton doesn't. That's a goddamn travesty of justice. And Mike Ditka should have never been given an ounce of fucking praise for anything after that. He should have been shunned in the city of Chicago. It was shortly after that that I also began to realize that we got some problems with Bears ownership. Now, my father's family is from southwest Indiana, just a couple hours southwest of Indianapolis. The Colts moved from Baltimore to Indianapolis right before the '85 season, so it was very fresh. Everybody was very excited in Indiana about it. And so I switched my allegiance from the Bears to the Colts. Excuse me. Sorry, I had to sneeze. I switched my allegiance when I was a teenager, and I never looked back. Bears ownership has historically been, in recent years, they have been spending more money, but historically, they have been the cheapest motherfuckers in the NFL. They cut corners wherever they could, and it was always this sense that they were like, we need to put a product on the field, but we don't necessarily need to put a winning product on the field because it's Chicago. Our fans are loyal. They're going to come out, and they do. If the Bears are absolute dog shit, they pack that stadium, and that's a good thing. But that doesn't mean that you don't try to put a winning product on. And it seems like the Bears ownership didn't try to put a winning product on the field for the longest time. So they haven't done anything to earn my fandom. Yeah, and I've got friends that are mutuals digitally and people in my real life who are Bears fans, and I know that, this tends to rub some of them raw sometimes. Fuck the Bears. As long as the McCaskey family owns the Bears, I hope they lose every single game they ever play, 186-0. I hope they have negative rushing yards and negative throwing yards in every single game. And it sucks because I have long said that the Bears are the flagship team of the NFL. Papa Hallis is the reason why there is an NFL. And the football world is right when the Bears are competitive every year, when they're in it every year. But not as long as this fucking team owns them. If they sold the team tomorrow, I would still be a Colts fan, but I would also root for my hometown team. I would love to root for the hometown team. I root for the Bulls. I root for the Cubs. I'm not a hockey fan, but if the Blackhawks are in it, go Blackhawks. But yeah, hey, fuck the Bears. Fuck the Bears and everything about their philosophy towards football. And when people go, well, what do you feel about them going to Indiana? I think that they should stay in the city of Chicago. I don't even think that they should go to Arlington Heights. I don't think they're going to Indiana. I think they're going to Arlington Heights. But let them move to fucking Salt Lake for all I care.